The initial acquisition involved purchasing the entire settlement, including all land, structures, and mineral rights. This type of complete ownership is rare and grants the owner significant control over the area's future. The primary motivation was often resource extraction, similar to other historical mining or logging town purchases. The decision to physically bury the town typically followed the depletion of the targeted resource or a major shift in economic viability. This process, known as land reclamation or controlled burial, is a documented engineering practice. The consequences were irreversible, permanently altering the topography and erasing the town's physical footprint. Such outcomes highlight the immense pressure of managing sudden wealth and the long-term responsibilities of large-scale ownership. This sequence demonstrates how a single financial event can set in motion a chain of practical, yet ultimately destructive, decisions. This pattern of lottery winners investing in rural communities is not unique to a single case. The financial mechanism typically involves using lump sum winnings to purchase entire parcels of land or multiple properties at once. These projects often follow a similar timeline, beginning with acquisition in the late 1990s or early 2000s. The stated public goals usually involve either redevelopment for tourism or preservation of historical character. This creates a specific dynamic where sudden, private wealth attempts to reshape a public, established community. The scale of ambition often exceeds the winner's experience in real estate or community planning. Comparisons can be drawn to other instances of private individuals attempting large-scale community projects with newfound capital. The outcome frequently hinges on zoning regulations, local governance, and community response, rather than just financial resources. The transition from lottery ticket holder to town owner is fraught with complexities few are prepared for. Several key, verifiable points define this story. First, the individual did win a major lottery jackpot. This financial windfall created the opportunity to purchase an entire town. Such purchases involve complex legal and financial mechanisms beyond typical real estate transactions. The process requires navigating municipal regulations, zoning laws, and existing community structures. This pattern mirrors other documented cases where sudden wealth leads to unconventional property acquisitions. The transition represents a shift from personal fortune to community stewardship, with significant responsibilities. The initial capital from this transaction was substantial, far exceeding typical real estate deals. This capital provided the financial foundation for a much larger acquisition. The target was a small, unincorporated town, a type of settlement with limited local governance. Such purchases often include the town's land, all existing structures, and valuable mineral rights beneath the surface. Mineral rights grant ownership of resources like oil, gas, or metals, separate from surface land ownership. This acquisition model represents a significant consolidation of property and resource control. The new owner's vision for the property involved significant alteration. Plans might have included developing the site for tourism, such as building visitor facilities or guided tours. Alternatively, the vision could have involved resource extraction, like mining operations for minerals. A third possibility was creating a private retreat, perhaps for exclusive residential or recreational use. This type of redevelopment vision is common when new entities acquire historical or remote properties. Following this vision, a critical decision was made to physically cover over parts of the existing townscape. Covering can involve burial under new fill material, like soil or gravel, to level the land. It can also mean encapsulation, where structures are sealed within new construction or landscaping features. This practice alters the historical record and physical access to the site's past layout. Such covering is a definitive, physical intervention that changes how future investigations or visits would encounter the location. This practice of using fill material like soil or gravel to bury old structures is a documented method in urban development. It creates a stable base for new construction while preserving archaeological layers below. Similar methods have been used in various locations where historical preservation conflicts with modern development needs. The fifth pattern involves projects that ultimately stall or fail completely. Financial exhaustion is a common cause, where initial funding proves insufficient for completion. Legal challenges can halt progress through zoning disputes, ownership conflicts, or regulatory obstacles. Environmental concerns sometimes force abandonment when ecological impacts outweigh development benefits. Loss of momentum occurs when public interest wanes or leadership changes direction. The result is often an altered landscape that remains abandoned, neither fully developed nor returned to its original state. These sites become physical records of ambitious plans that encountered insurmountable practical barriers. The popular narrative often simplifies complex events into dramatic stories of malice. In reality, covering a settlement with soil is a documented method in failed development projects. This practical step is sometimes used to stabilize land or prepare for future construction. Psychological states and private motivations of individuals involved are rarely fully documented. Without verified access to personal records, attributing specific intent remains speculative. Many historical events suffer from similar gaps in our understanding of human decision-making. The distinction between practical failure and deliberate malice is crucial for accurate analysis. Retellings that add drama often obscure the more mundane, yet significant, realities of such projects. The timeline of these events is often compressed for dramatic effect. In reality, the decline from purchase to abandonment typically occurred over years, not months. This gradual process involved complex financial, social, and logistical factors. Many accounts mistakenly blend details from different, unrelated cases. These cases involve wealthy individuals purchasing small towns, but they remain distinct events. The conflation creates a misleading composite narrative that obscures the actual mechanisms at play. Understanding the real pattern requires separating these individual historical instances. Each case followed its own unique trajectory based on specific circumstances and decisions. Sudden wealth syndrome describes the psychological and practical challenges faced by those who acquire large sums of money rapidly. This phenomenon often involves receiving massive opportunities without the corresponding managerial experience to handle them effectively. The responsibility of owning an entire town introduces immense legal complexities, from zoning laws to municipal codes. Environmental stewardship for such a large property becomes a significant, often underestimated burden. These combined pressures, financial, legal, and ecological, can overwhelm individuals unprepared for such scale. The core lesson is that great wealth brings not just freedom, but also formidable, non-negotiable duties. This financial dynamic illustrates the tension between immediate liquidity and long-term sustainability. A single capital-intensive project, such as a large construction or development initiative, can rapidly deplete even a substantial lump sum of money. Such projects often carry significant risk, with no guaranteed financial return on the investment. This creates a precarious situation where financial security is gambled on a single outcome. From a community perspective, this scenario demonstrates how the collective fate of a location can become dependent on the decisions of one individual. If that individual is unprepared or lacks the necessary expertise, the consequences for the community can be severe and long-lasting. It highlights a vulnerability where centralized control, without adequate safeguards or planning, places many at risk. This pattern is observable in various historical cases of failed developments or towns that declined after a key project collapsed. This principle applies to many documented cases where financial capability outpaced operational knowledge. For example, purchasing advanced equipment requires specialized training to operate safely and effectively. Similarly, acquiring land for development involves understanding environmental regulations and geological surveys. Without proper expertise, modifications to terrain can lead to irreversible consequences. This pattern appears in various contexts, from construction projects to resource extraction operations. The finality of such changes serves as a cautionary reminder about the gap between acquisition and management.
Like the journey? Subscribe and join the next expedition.